Hi, everybody!
So as of earlier today, it would seem Bandai Namco more or less confirmed a remaster for at least the first Tales of Xillia game, which is something I've talked about previously. So this got me thinking on why we need to see a Tales of Xillia remaster, and hopefully it'll be both games, and not just the first one. So one of the reasons we need this remaster comes down to the fact the Xillia titles helped establish the Tales of series in the mainstream. That's not to say it hadn't had successful entries before this, it certainly did. From the PlayStation 2 through 3 era, Bandai Namco were cooking with this series. Ask any fans of the franchise and chances are high they will point to either Abyss, Symphonia, Vesperia, or the Tales of Xillia titles as the games that made them fans of the franchise. Before this, the series was on the fringes of the mainstream. It's now truly cemented in the mainstream thanks to entries like Arise, meaning people now have a demand for older Tales of games, so Bandai Namco would be absolutely stupid if they didn't capitalize on the hype for the series, since we probably still have another year or two at least before we get a sequel to Tales of Arise. So that means we probably have 1 to 3 more remasters that will come out before that time period, which will keep the mainstream eye on the Tales of franchise in the meantime. But if you want to help this channel break into the mainstream, you can do so by hitting the subscribe button. I'm hoping to reach 2,000 subs by Christmas. This brings me on to something else I'd like to discuss though. Will it be the full Xillia duology of games, or will Bandai Namco refuse to put it out as a collection and just give us the first game, and release the second Xillia title later on? I think it's safe to assume we're only going to get the first game. Looking at it logically, Bandai stands to gain far more by breaking up the remasters into 2 separate releases. By doing so, they can charge us around $60 for the first game, and then sometime next year or the year after, drop the second title for another $60. This will lead to more sales revenue for the company as a whole. While that isn't the healthiest thing for the consumer, it's what makes the most sense for business. It's rare that companies are super generous and release both in one package. But stranger things have happened. Given the leaked images pretty much confirmed it's going to at least be the first Xillia title, when do I think it'll likely come out? I think it's highly unlikely to drop this year, when you consider that would give Bandai's marketing team only a couple of months to work with. Plus, Bandai already have a relatively high-profile JRPG to work with for this year in Digimon Story Time Stranger, which I will be making guides for when that game drops. So again, consider hitting the subscribe button so you won't miss those. But anyways, if the game were to come out this year, it'd have to be an early December release, which I don't think is the best time to release a remaster. Considering this isn't going to be a brand new title and merely a remaster, that means the demand for it isn't going to be as high as a proper sequel to Tales of Arise, which is highly anticipated by people who don't normally enjoy JRPGs. So I would say this pushes the potential remasters into the early portion of 2026. Given I think next year is the likeliest point it drops, we have to also consider when is the best possible window for this remaster to come out. I would say anytime before May is a safe bet, given a lot of companies will want to keep their games as far away from Grand Theft Auto 6 as possible, since that is going to be one of the most hotly anticipated games of all time. Plus, it's also rumored to be a $100 USD game, which, if that's the case, it's really going to hurt the wallets of consumers. So if it doesn't release before late May next year, the next window I can see it coming out is sometime in late June to mid-September. However, since this is a remaster, I don't feel like Bandai would bother to announce it that far in advance, meaning a release window of February to March seems the best bet. So this brings me on to something else related to this potential release. Why is the remaster for the Xillia duology so damn important? Well, considering it only has a PlayStation 3 release, that is a pretty big deal. It has been trapped in 7th gen purgatory since 2013 when it had a worldwide release, not exactly making it an easy game to go out and play. Other retro releases at least had the advantage of being on the PlayStation 2, a console that sold far more and can still be acquired for not a lot of money. meaning the games are at least a little bit more accessible. This lack of accessibility is why this remaster is so important though. A lot of people just never had the potential to play these games, and now they finally will. However, there's another thing I want to discuss. So when you think of older Tales of games that don't currently have ports on modern systems, what are the titles you think of? Probably you're thinking about either Tales of the Abyss or the Xillia duology, and there's a high demand for both. Seriously, check out JRPG groups on Facebook or even various posts on Reddit. People really want remasters for both Xillia games, along with Tales of the Abyss. It makes a ton of sense when you consider all of these titles are amongst the most popular and beloved entries in the series that haven't had modern re-releases yet. So, why do I think Bandai may have chosen to prioritize Xillia over Abyss? It's simple really, the work required to remaster the Xillia games is just going to be that much more compared to Abyss. This mostly is thanks to the cell architecture on the PlayStation 3 being obscenely hard to code for. This is why a lot of remasters from that era of games have glitches not found in the originals. Seriously, think about it, there's a lot of profit to be had from both, but the extra work required for Xillia means it should get prioritized, as Bandai have other games they can use to fill the gap in the meantime. But when it comes to Remaster Abyss, which is likely to be the next up, they can put a smaller team on that project and release it during a period of time when gamers won't be quite as spoiled for choice, since they know that one will sell no matter what. Just like they know the Xillia remasters will also sell no matter what, but there's also a more pressing need to put those out compared to other Tales of projects. So, are you excited for the announcement on the 18th of this month? Let me know in the comments, and feel free to speculate on what game is probably getting the remastered treatment. Now check out one of my previous videos on screen now, and until next time, keep blazing that trail.